Right, y'all, we are back with season 2, and I had to kick it off with two of my oldest friends. Now, when I say oldest friends, I mean they knew me like when I was still wearing glasses and like my forehead was big and my teeth was big, and I
Uh-huh.
hadn't really grew into myself just yet. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew me when I used to tell people I was from Brooklyn and I had never been to Brooklyn, but this is
Nice.
because of them. Like they made me really believe that I was from Brooklyn. I had a Brooklyn
Absolutely.
accent without ever having been
What?
there from hanging around these folks. Okay. So two of my brothers are here. They are ridiculous. I have my I got Malcolm and Sean are here. I mean, made me fall in love with Brooklyn. I just have so much love for them. But I grew up knowing them in church, met them very young. You know, we came from the old school GMWA.
Yeah.
We'll get into
Yes,
that
sir.
in a little bit.
Right.
And I was just talking, I reached out to them and I said, yo, we need to talk about how old school church really helped to cultivate us and really introduce us to people that were going to be our friends 30 years later. So I'm super excited to hang out with these folks. They're both in ministry, they're both doing amazing things, and we'll get to that maybe toward the end. But I got to jump right in, y'all. First of all, let's talk about old school ministry. What is like one of y'all favorite things about like how we grew up in church? Like, what's one of your favorite things that you can think of that you just like I like the deacon with all the keys. I don't like these new I don't like these new key fobs. I don't want to see that. I want you to have keys that jingle, and
You
I
want to hear him
want you
coming?
to and I want
Right.
you to smoke a little cigarette in the back. That's how I know
Right.
that you gonna make sure that these doors is locked. You feel me?
That's crazy.
I'm not
That
lying
is
though. Like
crazy.
that's my favorite thing. That's how I feel like I'm in church. All right, y'all tell
I
me
love
about
it.
y'all. What's one of y'all favorite things about like old school church? Makes you really think about it.
Go ahead, Malcolm.
I think for me, and I know some of you probably jump into it, but first thing that jumped off of my head was like the fellowship. So like, afternoon services, you knew you was going to such and such church, and you knew, the young people over there. So it was like an instant connection because we all got a chance to see each other. We got a chance, to do ministry together, whatever it is that we were doing. But I think we missed that. I think coming outside of pandemic, afternoon services scarce these days.
This is very true.
I mean, unless you're in a mega ministry where you got to do 2-3 services, that's something different. I'm talking about just straight fellowship afternoon service. Like that's not really a thing. Some churches are back to it, but it's not really a common thing that's like really pumping like the way it used to. But I think inside of those spaces were great moments, not only just for the adults, but for the young people to be able to connect, say, look, at the end of the day, we young people, when we young people in Christ, we already got a target on our back because we stand out and we stand different. But to see that we got somebody else, we got other people that's doing and believing and, doing things in ministry the same way that we are, it's encouraging, it makes you feel like, okay, well, we're not alone in this and, we can connect together.
Yeah. And you know what?
Go ahead.
You know what I was gonna say, Sean, and Malcolm, is when you said that, I was like, you know what? We really have got away from for real afternoon service like that 4 p.m. Like you go when your mama make you stay at the church because y'all live too far to go and then come back. So you stay at the church, you order you a little Popeyes, you order you a little something, come right to the house, get you a little snack. You don't eat a lot because they're going to give you food after the 4 p.m. service anyway.
Or they're going to feed you.
But you know what? You're right. Like a true, now, I think we're coming back to some of these evening services, but the sense of camaraderie and even like you said, the fellowship that surrounded that afternoon church service, it was bar none. Like it was like, oh, we got to go back because they youth choir coming to sing. So we got to sing.
Yeah. And to piggyback on that, well, two things. At first, I love the deacon, but I also love in my childhood church in Antioch, Malcolm, we used to have a lady, Miss Bertha. They was always in the kitchen, right? So I would find myself in the kitchen. I don't know how I ended up there every week, but that was just I would just end up there. And they would let me taste the food that they was cooking for the service. They would always give me a little something. But it stands out in my mind when they would be down there cooking and it'd be like, okay, I got to do this. Baby, watch it. I'm putting these yams in here, but I got to go up here and sing. So she running out the thing, putting an apron on the table because she got to go up and grab the mic and sing and then go back down. So that's one of my favorites. But to what you all were saying as far as afternoon and stuff, what stands out to me as far as a word in regards to that is community. It was because we had so many limitations. We were saved, so of course we wanted. We were too young to go to clubs and all that, but we weren't going to like parties and we weren't going to different. Yeah. So that we looked forward to the community of, like you said, morning Sunday school, morning church. Then depending on where the church was, we had our places like in New York. Malcolm, you remember Glorious Church of God in Christ?
Yes,
we would go there, the line be wrapped around the building. They would make plates that could last you 2 days. And we would go stand there while they were still in church, because some churches started at different times. So we would hear the music of people we looked up to in different sects. And, we would be downstairs getting our food and we would run back to that service. And as young musicians, we would do 11 o'clock service, sometimes 3 o'clock, leave there and go to another service that started at 4:30, and we had to play for a choir that had to sing or a group. Then we would leave there and go to the 7 p.m. service, and it was literally church all day. You looked forward to your favorite, like you said, choirs, musicians, and as we got older and took more to the word, our favorite preachers coming to town, and they was just like, yo, this Sunday gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? Because of all that we had to look forward to. So yeah, I think that is something that's tremendously missed, because you said it jokingly, but now people are looking to what we got in person in our local areas. They're running home, or heck, while in service, pulling out their phones to see what's going on across the country on social media. It's not that same feeling, that tangibility is gone.
And that,
go ahead, Michael.
I was gonna say, and that virtual piece is killer too, because again, going back to pandemic, because the pandemic, has created, a whole new stream of how we do church. And even us, reverting, trying to go back into the way we did church. There's still some things that we don't do the same. So like for my church is a hybrid church. We have a whole online community, just like most churches now, that we have to have, someone who pastors the online community. We pray with them, they tithe, they never step foot in the church, but they're virtually present every day. So what has happened with that's made it even better for young people, because they love the virtual world. They love Meta, you know what I'm saying? So they're able to access everything on their phone. So why am I going to church? Why am I going to afternoon service? I could just tune in right here on the live, and I'm right here on the spot.
And you know what? We didn't have, we had, I think by the time we started, like when I went my freshman year of college, we had MySpace, right? What was the other one? What was the other one?
Black Planet.
Black Planet.
Jesus.
My God.
We had Black Planet. So it wasn't like real time updated. Like, first of all, they was making us like we was coding. We didn't even know we was coding. We was coding, but it wasn't like it wasn't on your phone. You had to sit down on a computer and the computer had to be plugged in. Like it had to be attached to the Wi-Fi line. So it's strange. So for me, like we didn't oversee each other because we never. So if you didn't go see somebody in person, that was it. Like we was writing letters to each other. Like I was talking to my students and I was like, y'all don't know anything about writing a 10-page letter to your friend, putting it in an envelope. I got baby pictures of y'all from y'all mailing it to me.
For real. And when we talk, like, yo, did you get my letter yet? Nah, okay, it'll be there in a few days.
Do y'all remember? Wait, but do y'all remember the phone cards? Like, you had to get a phone card.
I was just about to say that. No, we ain't had no long distance on that phone.
Or you had to get quarters. Do y'all remember that? Remember the phones they had? The pay phones in the city? And then they progressed and they had that big white or red phone that you put the quarter in it, like the beauty parlor and different things. You only had a few minutes. I love you, I gotta go. Or how about this? Remember, call me back after 6. My minutes. My minutes ain't free.
Yo, let me tell y'all something. When Sprint went so remember everybody else was like 9 o'clock. But remember when Sprint went to that 7 and you could pay like $5? You would have thought we was balling.
What? Clutch.
Listen.
But it was the capacity, it was the desire to talk to your friends, to see your friends who understood culturally what it meant to live in a real world space, to live in the world, period, and still have the capacity to say, like, nah, I can't be out all night. Like, we gotta go to church in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just had a different way. And even when we did things, right? Because we wasn't always holy, but there was still like a yank that was pulling us back. And I felt like it was due to the relationships that we had. People who were also young, who were also living holy, who were also feeling that same pull, even when we wasn't living holy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just an amazing time. And so it really gonna bring me to like, I want to ask y'all about the impact. Really trying to segue into that. Like, what do y'all feel like are the importance of those shared values and beliefs and experiences in forming some of the relationships like we have now? You know, like, how do you feel like, was that really important? Was that really youth ministry specific? Was it ministry overall? Like, how do y'all feel some of those impacts and shared values and experiences, how does it make us get to here today where we at now?
Malcolm, you mind if I go? Or you
go ahead, Sean. Go ahead.
You sure? Okay. I think it helped tremendously because with that community and with the limitations, or even at that point, the spurts of growth that we experienced, we had to do a lot. We had to be more personable, right? So because we didn't have phones that have the capability that we have now, when we were together, we were actually together. Yeah. We were engaged with one another. You know, now you can sit at a table with 10 people and everybody on their phone. And the people that are around the table matter least compared to what's going on that phone. Right. So I think it established healthy relationships and engaging and enhanced our communicative ability because we didn't know anything else. And with that, we wanted to be around. You know, like you said, not convocation, but GMWA. We were so hyped to get there that we would like call our parents if they weren't, like, hey, we made it safe. This is where we staying. All right, cool. We going out, Keating them in town. Or yeah, like we going here because we're gonna do this, and we got to come. You know, even as far as certain levels of respect and being able to be free but not go too far, because we had experiences like, Peter, we coming to your room, right? But coming to your room was coming to the houses that your parents rented was we were coming to be with loving, caring, attentive adults who would say, y'all come in here, eat this and do this and da da da. But we had stewarding. We had I can't think of the word. I can't think of the word. But yeah, there were people watching out for us to make sure we had fun, but that we were still safe and cared for, and that certain lines weren't crossed as it happens with children. You know what I'm saying? So I think it helped tremendously because those components being present made for lasting and real relationships. Oh, that's and here we are 30 years later.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer in shared experiences that they build trusted spaces. So I think that inside of those shared experiences that we had together, we were able to build this level of trust with each other over the years. And what's happened now with, I'm not going to say all young people, but some young people, because again, you know, and I'm not knocking, you know, us being in this virtual meta life, you know what I'm saying? But the shared experience now is based on the context that I can get off of your Facebook, off your IG, and that gives me your identity by what I take from the context clues that you give. So now I feel like I know you because I've seen your pictures, I watched what you post on this, and I saw how you felt about that. I seen when you was angry and you was pissed off and you cussed everybody out. Like I got a whole outlook of who you are, but at the end of the day, I still haven't shared a space with you. You know what I'm saying? So
that's so good.
I think we're missing that, you know what I mean, for the young people, they're missing that part, and it's such a valuable part. And you know, I know with my demographic here where I am in Delaware, a lot of them, young people, they don't trust each other, but they don't trust each other because they haven't tore down the wall and got into a space where, see me for me. Believe it or not, we're the same in a lot of places. We got the same issues. We come from the same backgrounds, and we can grow together. And God also, when you equate God into all that, God is able to do some amazing things when you have a connection and fellowship. Because again, going back to what Sean was saying, we put ourselves in a connection that even where one of us will go left or do something crazy, we're like, nah, you can't do that. You got to stop. Right. We're not supposed to go in that direction. And I think that, when you have that shared experience, you know each other's value. So absolutely. I always say it all the time. I ran the street harder and crazier, and Sean didn't. And Sean will always be the one like, I'm out.
Sean was saved, though.
You know what I mean?
Sean was saved. Okay, every time I look up,
I was trying to be.
Every time I look up the man of God sitting on the organ, I'll be like, here all day, all night. Dang, come on.
I was trying. I was trying to be.
Listen, I'll tell you something. I remember we used to run the street so hard, and I'll be getting into all kind of stuff. Sean would be right with me, but we would be up at 5 a.m. going to prayer.
Yes, prayer.
Sir. 5 a.m.
We sure would.
We in Queens going to prayer at somebody's church, and I'm like, why are we up? Like, I've been out. I've been all kind of sick, but we had 5 a.m. prayer though, and felt it was in a move of God and left living, left free.
Yeah, for real.
And
for real.
You know what I mean? But that's what happens when you have shared experience together.
Yeah. And if I can pick up on that, bro, like I was trying, but even though you was in the streets, there were lots of, we were all in church, but you were heavier. But even with that, there, like you said, that ability to be able to, because of the respect and the shared spaces and all that, and the love and the genuineness, we were able to pull each other's coattails to be like, even so much so that our parents would say, who gonna be there? And you'd be like, bye, Malcolm. Okay, cool, you could go. Because I know Malcolm and I know his parents and I know where he comes from and the values that they hold. It's you understand what I'm saying? We all, even in our shared spaces during that week of GMWA, we could be wherever each other was going to be because our parents, whether home or present, knew that we would look out for each other and be safe. And like you said, this generation, these generations, I guess a few past and those coming, don't know. Yes, Lord. They don't know. They don't know those experiences. You understand what I'm saying, Malcolm? They don't know those experiences in Jesus' name. But no, go ahead.
Let me throw another hit from somewhere else, right? And this is a whole nother thing. We came from communities, right, that had, prominent voices in the community that had major impact on the youth, right? We had pastors, bishops, preachers that were impactful to young people. And everywhere we went, they knew who we were, no matter what church we would go to. You know what I mean? I give him a shout out because he was always on me and Sean all the time. I know he was probably on Sunday too. Bishop Bond was always on us all the time. We would go travel with James Hall. We just be hanging around just to go for the ride. It'd be the middle of the night and we up there conniving what we gonna get into next. And you hear Bishop Bond, beloved.
Beloved.
Where we headed tonight, beloved.
and Malcolm, and they would pull us. I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
But no. But that relationship though, you know what I'm saying? I appreciated that because somebody, had us in mind. Somebody wanted to ensure that we stayed, on our right path. And at the end of the day, he knew we would mess up and all that. But at the end of the day, the fact that he had the heart to be concerned is a major thing instead of, just saying, hey, go handle your business. I wasn't a member of his church.
Right.
He didn't have to do nothing, but he always looked out. So I appreciated that. Years down the line, looking back, I'm like, I appreciate that.
And to Piggy, I know. Go ahead, Sonny. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I remember, and I don't know if y'all have the same if it's as bright in y'all memory as mine, but my Aunt Jackie was like that with everybody. Like, I just remember her like yanking up kids that was going, because you got to remember, even though we were like young and we was having good like fun, there were, again, and you got to be mindful, wherever there's a lot of kids, there's always going to be predators. And so there were people who were there just to cause havoc. And Aunt Jackie would be like, Malcolm, where are you going? Who is that? I don't know. Yep. Like, just be yelling across. I'd be like, Aunt Jackie, God rest her soul, because she was really in everybody's business. Like, she was like,
we needed that.
She'd be like, text Malcolm, ask Malcolm why he not in rehearsal. He's supposed to be in the drum class and he not in the drum class. Now I'm standing here in the drum class with RC and I don't see him. I said, hey Jackie, he's in the advanced class. You're in the beginner class.
That's a fact. But you know what? That also
it was the
go ahead. I'm sorry.
It was the people that were called to young people, that were called to families, being gatekeepers. Like, yo, we making sure that y'all good. And I felt like that was just something different. You were gonna say something, Sean? I'm
sorry, Sonny. Yeah, it's just, of course, these memories are coming back, and speaking to how it helped us, it still stands today. That again, that community that was created in those spaces taught us a heightened level of respect, not just for one another, but for other adults. That I feel a lot of these generations now, not blaming them, but they're only a product of their experiences and their environments. Some of them don't have that if they're not getting it in the home. School is doing what it's doing, and environment and social media has become apparent now. It's become a guide and a gauge and a barometer. But we had those things where if somebody says something to us, even if they weren't our mother remotely related to us or our past, like you said, it was like okay, cool. I not even a question. I better line up, because if I respect them enough to chastise me and do whatever, but if word gets back to my parents, I'm certainly going to be even in more trouble. So it taught us respect and restraint.
Yeah. That's good. And you're absolutely right. It definitely took a village. And so I think Malcolm kind of started talking about it when he was just responding. But what do y'all think are some of the challenges and obstacles that old school youth ministry might face in a modern time today? And the reason I'm asking that is because how do we get some of that root work, like the foundational work, to today's young people in a world that is full of Instagram, full of Snapchat, full of TikTok, full of all of these quick 20-second, 15-second videos? How do we plant some of those foundational things? So, and what are some obstacles or challenges that it might face in today's society?
I think, well, the first thing we got to start off is who goes right. With youth ministry, with dealing with the young people at all, you have to have a level of investment. So we got to talk about who is the individual that is investing the time. Because the people that we know that, were in our community and in our shared spaces, they invested fully to us. Conventions, convocations, regular church on Sunday, call you from out of state. Hey, you okay? How you doing? You all right? You acting right? Who's ready to take that level of investment? And that's one of the things that, for me, in ministry, when we had people that wanted to work with the youth, I would always ask, like, are you really fully in for this? Because you can't be just a pinky toe in with this, because it's not going to work, because the amount of pull and pouring that you're going to have to do for these young people, because truth be told, I hate to say it, sometimes you're even looked at as a second parent. And, you might
or the first parent. Or the first parent.
Exactly. You'll be feeling a void. A void of mentorship, a void of discipleship. Like it's a whole lot of things that you're feeling. Are you really prepared to do that? So now the question is that do we have people that are investing this time, because at the end of the day, if you're investing time, I don't care, what's going on. I don't care if they, the social media world, whatever. The best thing you could give anybody is your time. And it could be a child. The fact that you took time to sit here, listen to me. I sit with my son all the time. My son does all these animations and stuff, and I don't know, all these cartoons. Sometimes he get the old school stuff that I know. But, he, Ben 10 and Pokemon, I don't know all these people, you know what I mean? So, but I sit and I try to get a little time with him so I can, and he appreciates that, even though I don't know a clue about what they talk about, what they're doing. But the fact that I gave him some time went far. So I think the biggest thing that we're faced with right now is who's ready to invest time in the problem of how do we bridge the gap.
Yeah, that's good.
If I can add to that, now that was wonderful. If I can add to that, I think with the need for time, like you suggested, we have to make better use of the time that we do have with the children when we have them in our church and our sacred spaces, right? So we grew up in different contexts and church was different, so we actually learned to appreciate and love the word of God. We had our favorite preachers, whether it be for whatever, and not to say that they don't, but again, we did not have the distraction of social media. And I'm not saying it's solely a distraction, but without nurturing and parameters, it can be distracting, because you'll have people in church who are on phone in another service. Right. And it's one thing to say, this is youth ministry, blah, 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 blah. But who's taking time to say, hey, let's just talk. Let's I see something wrong. I sense something wrong, whether it be spiritual or natural. Something's going on. You're not acting like yourself. Let's go for a walk. Let's go get coffee. Let's just sit and chill. What you been doing this week? I'm not going to beat you. I'm going to make you feel safe so that you'll open up to me and share with me. And I think a major point of what Malcolm said is that spending time with children, with people, period, gives them a chance to get to know you, see your motives, feel you out. And then they'll understand you're not just coming to me and trying to sell me Jesus. You're not trying to sell me church. You're not trying to sell me whatever. You're really invested into me. So then that opens up that door for witnessing, communication, trust, and sharing, and all of the necessary things to get them where they need to be.
Absolutely. And I'll throw another one out there, because I love these kind of discussions. Another thing is, if you're going to in order to create a shared experience, you have to have transparency. This is a different generation. You can't lie, because guess what? They're going to press this phone up.
They go find
right to it. They're going to say, you lying because Wikipedia say, and all these other folks say. You can't do that. You can't do it with, preaching. You can't do it with teaching. You can't do it with just talking life lessons. You have to be transparent. And I think that, we have people who are offended at their request of transparency, because in the day we have to answer hard questions. We have to, talk about things that we don't want to talk about, especially when it comes to church. We got to talk about some things that ain't Bible, but we said it was what was supposed to be done in order for you to get to heaven,
My Lord.
So, but we got to have those discussions, because they are intelligent. These children are intelligent. They are way ahead of their time. Young people they're way ahead of their time. So I think transparency is a bigger issue, because we can't even do transparency right on the adult level. We can't do it on the preacher level. You know what I mean? So how in the world do we expect to win kids with, from a place of transparency? We can't do it at those levels alone.
You know what, bro? Go ahead, Sonny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say something that Bishop said. Bishop William Murphy. He said he did this series, and he said we should lead with fellowship. Fellowship should lead to relationship. Relationship should lead to discipleship. And discipleship leads to leadership. And he talked about how so often we skip over fellowship, which is what we talked about at first, hanging out, getting to know, having the opportunity to share. You build relationship in that relational time. You have to be transparent in order to be authentic, to have authentic relationship. If I have relationship with you, I can then disciple you. What happens is we so often, and this is not just youth ministry, this is just life ministry itself, where so often people want to be in charge of people that they have never said hello to. You sit next to me every day, and because you have a title or a position, or you're the CEO, or you're whatever, you've never at once acknowledged me, but you want to make decisions concerning me, right? So not having that relationship, it won't allow you to be discipled, to be shepherded, to be led. And then of course, then it stunts the leadership, because all leaders should have a leader. So if you don't have no leader, it throws it all off. And so it just makes me think of that, that authenticity, and ensuring that we are really following those practices. And I definitely agree. I tell people all the time, and Malcolm he'd probably be ready to go off every time I say this. But I tell people all the time, I say, yeah, I called Malcolm, was like, yo, Malcolm, I know you wanted me to come preach. I just want you to know I'm unmarried and I am pregnant. So I ain't gonna be able to come. I'm gonna have to hit you up another time. He said, okay, when the baby shower, what you need, what you didn't blink, didn't his pastor didn't blink. Pastor was calling me saying, yo, you good? What you need? Again, it was that authenticity, because they had relationship with me, and I respected them enough where I was like, hey, I ain't showing, but I want y'all to know, because I don't want y'all to ever, be in any type of situation because of me. And so just knowing like that transparency, this was my friend of 20 years. And because he's my friend of 20 years, I automatically already trusted his leaders because they leaded him. I had the opportunity to really share that. And then the next year they was like, all right, so you back now? Like, let's come on. Yeah. and now Malcolm's wife babysits all my kids.
You know what's crazy about that, Sonny? I love that. And again, just to piggyback, I think that's a major step that we're missing. I don't want to say we've been taught. I don't even want to say it's largely or widely accepted. But a lot of the issue that I feel happens in churches is that we try to disciple people before we develop them.
Oh yes,
you can't pull somebody off the street and give them all of the doctrine, and you can't wear this, and you can't do this, and you can't da 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 da. Because then again, you attempt to, and I'm not trying to rhyme, but you attempt to what's the word? Denominationalize them, if that's a word. You try to pull them into what you know, as opposed to introducing them first to God, as opposed to first spending time with them enough to gain their trust and let them come into a space where they're saying, you know what is your way? What is the way to do this the right way? I want to learn it. I want to be a part. I want to do. We don't have that again, like you said, that community is what's missing. It's you know what I mean? It's a major part to all that's needed for all of the things that we're talking about, because the people, they don't know that they can trust us.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have experience. They don't know that they can trust us, because what makes us different, aside from now our clothes, than the saints that hurt their parents years ago? What makes how do I know I can trust you with me? Let alone my secrets, let alone my indiscretions and my sins. How do I know what I share here won't be subliminally posted about on social media tomorrow because my last pastor did that to me? You get what I'm saying? I wanted to put that out there. And then my last thing, as far as the transparency, I do believe transparency is of the utmost importance, but I feel that some have made the mistake of sharing too much too soon.
That's good.
Everybody can't see Superman proverbially in the pulpit and then see Clark Kent in the back chambers. Everybody can't handle that, because their spiritual maturity is not to the point where they can understand that you can be tremendously used by God and still tremendously flawed and exceptionally human.
Yeah, and everybody definitely can't be trusted with whatever is your kryptonite. There's no way. It ain't no way. So no, I agree. I think that as I prayed through, and again, y'all know, my life really shifted in these last few months, where I was really seeking God, and thank God for my pastor, who was like, hey, ask Holy Spirit what you need your next to be. And really being released to understand that I needed to go where I was praying and I said, Lord, should I do this? Should I become a teacher? And I clear as day heard Holy Spirit say, you've been fishing in a fish tank. You've been fishing where people already know that they need me, and that's not what I called you to do. And so as I've been out, Pastor Malcolm, Sean, like as I've been heavily in the marketplace with these families and these children who have different belief systems or no belief systems, and just a whole heap of other things, I am recognizing that I spent the better part of the last 20 years trying to schedule and plan events, and these kids needed a reading tutor and they need a math tutor. And in order for me to ensure that they are well and discipled well, I need to also be dealing with what naturally is holding them back. And so I really, as I've been thinking through, like, what made us different was, because we was, y'all remember, we was like, read out loud. You got up to that church, they said, I need a reader. 12 years old. I think I got a video. Right. I got a video at one of Malcolm's maybe like youth events or something. And Trinity Love is like 8 years old reading the Bible out loud for me to pray. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we was raised. That's how you gonna be raised, But just seeing, some of those things, and it really makes me think about, it's gonna bring me to my last question, y'all. What do y'all have? Like, what's some tangible things, natural and spiritual, for building lifelong friendships that make a difference at 12 years old, that at 40
Jesus.
Oh God, we're in the 40s.
That's
now.
Real
but
now, y'all.
At this time, how do you hold on to people for 20, 30 years? I don't know how long y'all been friends. Malcolm, Sean, when did y'all meet?
Man,
over 30 now. It's been a lot. It's been
we up there. I tried to do the finite and where we were, because we were in between that 95, 96, 97.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, it was. You're right.
Because I was about to say, I want to think I was like 12.
Yeah, I want to say like 96, 97, somewhere around there.
Okay, so at least 25.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we over 25. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, for
we
sure.
over 25.
Yeah,
I'm thinking 28. Yeah, I'm thinking 28, 27, 28.
Yeah.
And a life to go.
Like y'all literally knew me before I had my oldest kid. And she's a sophomore in college.
Jesus.
Right. That makes it hit a little different. You could have left that out.
Yeah. Jeez. It does.
Good. That hits a little different. You ruined my weekend. Thank you. Wow. That hits different. Jeez, that's crazy.
Yeah.
We look good though. We look good. Me and Malcolm had hair.
Yeah.
Remember that? We had hair.
We had some waves at some point in life.
Right, we had some waves and stuff. Right. But to your question, I'll let Malcolm go last. You want to go now, bro, or what?
No, go ahead. You got it.
I was gonna say, to that, if I understood the question correctly, I think some practical and spiritual components to lifelong friendships are things we've touched on already. People that you can be truthful with, people that you can receive truth from, people that know you for who, like, you can really be yourself with, flaws and all, and they not judge you or throw you away, or people that you can even I often use the analogy that that iron sharpens iron, but in that process there's friction, there's heat, there's fire, there's hitting, there's noise. So sometimes you're gonna bump heads, you're gonna get into it and not necessarily agree. I believe real friendships are most proven by situations like that, where you don't agree, how you handle one another, what parameters and what's the word, what parameters and boundaries you set for yourself and for this friendship. And get this, people that you can grow with. Me and none of us are the same person that we were 20 years ago, 15 years ago. It's physiologically impossible, right? But we've grown with each other. So though things have changed, it's like okay, that's where you are now. Easy, say less. I'm there, no matter what. We don't have to speak every day, right? People that respect your space and the way life has you, your ups and your downs. We don't have to speak every day, but if you, any one of us know that if we call, whether it be good or bad, what can I do? What's up? Say less. I don't even need to know. Just send me the address, send me the amount, send me the person, like whatever it is, I got you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So practically just people that you can trust.
You almost flaked on us tonight. You almost flaked on us.
Hold on, son. Hold on. That felt very aggressive. That felt very aggressive.
I want to, we talking about being transparent, so I wanted the people to know that.
And see that, Malcolm, your real friends will roast you in public. Your real friends will roast you in public on a podcast.
Receive
in Jesus' name. Receive it, right. And dare you to say something or not show up for the next one. I get it, I'll take it.
Wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. Malcolm, one time I text Sean and I said, Sean, I'm finna do a weekend lock-in and I just want to write a bunch of songs. Me and my husband, we gonna rent somewhere and we need you to come all weekend. He said, all right, I'm there. Now, y'all, Sean is a full-time musician. This is the gift that God gave him to pay his bills. That man didn't ask me for nobody. He just said, all right, Keedy, I'm there.
Just let me know. We'll work out all the other stuff later. You know, and when I say work it out, I mean the Lord know what we're doing and he know what we are. He gonna make it happen. Money, that's nothing. You tell me I'm there. And that still stands. I'm waiting for it.
But that's real friendship. You know, one of my best friends, Wayman, Malcolm knows him, but Wayman, he could call me today. I will get on the Greyhound bus. His name is Wayman, like Raymond Wayman.
You know what that makes me think of, right? Slow down, Dirty Shame.
I cannot.
Remember?
Not too much. Not too much.
Wayman, if you hear this, it's only because of the name. It has not. I love you, bro. You my sister's best friend. You my guys. Nothing.
Not too much on the name.
It's nothing wrong with it. It's just it's nothing wrong with it. It's just the movie.
Well, you know what? Now you got. You know what? Now you gotta go. This
is the first Wayman I know outside of the movie.
Now you need to go. Now you gotta go on Apple Music, and now you gotta buy his album because you try to clown him. So
send it to me because I'm gonna forget. I wasn't trying to clown him. It's just the movie that came to mind.
You was because you always try to clown him.
They trying to make us enemies, and I don't like this. Wayman, they trying to turn us against each other. This is not God's will.
But like I was saying, he could call me. I would hop on a Greyhound bus and go to whatever he need me to come to because of the amount of time that we have sown into one another. You know what I'm saying? That's my true friend. Same thing for y'all. Malcolm, no, anytime. I've been trying to get to Delaware since COVID ended, or it ain't end, but since it went on vacation, so I could just sleep at his house because that's why I like to bring all my kids. And we be in the guest room. And Malcolm be like, y'all good? We be like, we good.
But that's friendship.
I'm telling you, his wife be you see how the kids act when they around their auntie. They don't even want me. They go on to lay on their auntie.
That's how we do. We sleep on the floor. We Malcolm, remember that day we slept in the truck? Mom was having the crib clean. We went downstairs and laid me, him, and G sleep in the truck. Like we're family. That's what we do.
That's what family does, man. That's what
we do.
It's a time. No, that was good. That was good. All right, Malcolm, what about you?
I think one of the biggest things for me is belonging. Right? Belonging. I ain't preaching, but when Jesus went to go get Simon, Peter, and Andrew, he said, come follow me. He ain't say, come, let me preach to you. He ain't say, let me go do this and that. Just come with me. He just made them feel like they belong to something. I work in the prison system, so one of the greatest things that I see with young men, particularly young Black men, is the seeking for validation. And usually the validation comes from a negative source in which they feel that they belong to. And because of that, it causes them to go down the road that they go. But in that, I see the strength and the power in that. Most of them, they don't have a father, don't have a mother and a father, come from extreme poverty, what have you. But their allegiance to brotherhood, their allegiance to, their gang they set, like it's, they would die for it because they belong to it. So I think that's one of the greatest things even about us is that no matter what we are going through, how we look, what we doing, what we got going on in life, we never make each other feel like we're ostracized or we're pushed outside of the group. We always, y'all remember when we had a little group? Now, I don't know who all listening, but we used to have a little group, right, called The Fam.
The Fam.
The Fam.
DF for life.
DF for life. We sure did. That's right. For life.
We were so tight that we created a church gospel music workshop gang called.
We was a gang. We was a gang, y'all.
We had bandanas and all that, and we showed up in the middle of a lobby of the convention center, decked out, head to toe,
with our gear on.
Ready. And people said, "Who are these people?"
The Fam. The Fam. DF.
And we
That's it. DF for life.
And one time I almost got in a fight at GMWA, and y'all was riding, like we riding.
And that's what we did. That's what we did. But
we was ready to.
People start. I remember people like, especially like from our chapter in New York, where like I remember people started getting jealous because they weren't a part of it. And they were like, "Yo, how do I get down with that?" Because y'all look like this knit group. And,
I remember Sean saying, "You don't."
Exactly.
Was that bad? Was that God?
But I use that because those were the beginning years of our the strength of us coming together and being welcome and belonging to each other, and it grew us and knit us so tight that now look at us, years down the line, we still not outside of that circle, no matter how far we go. Then the other part is, and Sean touched on it, and this is just my own analogy, and I'll shut up. I live by this in my house. I live by it in my church. Everybody know I say it all the time. I make a margin of error for all people. I have a margin in my life. Because at any given moment, you're going to be mad with me. At any given moment, you're going to be pissed off. At any given moment, you're going to do something dirty to me. At any given moment, I make that margin. And when you do it, I am not offended. I won't hold it against you because at the end of the day, I've already made an expectation for it because I know at the end of the day, you're human and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you really want a real relationship, you want real shared experiences, you want real friendships that last, you have to make a margin of error for each other. You have to make that margin of error because at some point you're gonna butt heads, just like Sean said. The iron, it creates that friction. But at the end of the day, are you gonna throw away 25 years because of offense?
Yeah,
because of how you felt, and you felt like you was wrong when you thought you was right. Like, and for me too, that defines the relationship too. When people tell me, "Oh, I don't talk to such and what," but you was friends with them for over 35 years. You just threw it away, or for what?
Right.
So so those kind of things. So those are my two things. But I love this tonight. This was a good discussion tonight.
No, I love this.
Agreed.
Thank y'all so much. So again, I hope this was encouraging to everybody. It was a little bit of youth ministry, a lot of bit of relationships, a lot of bit of family. So I'm super excited for Pastor Malcolm and my brother, the minstrel, Mr. Sean Hall. Is there any way people can follow y'all if they want to get in touch with y'all? Do y'all have any way that y'all want people to find you?
Follow me as I follow Christ.com. Don't pray, I'm playing. I am my handle on Instagram. My name on Facebook is Sean Hall, SeanHall. On Instagram, I'm not on Twitter like that, but on Instagram it's at I as in India, M as in Mary, Sean Hall, SeanHall.
And he be preaching on there, y'all. He got a little 30-second preach that he be doing. So y'all send him an offering.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
All right. What about you, Malcolm?
You can find me on Facebook, Malcolm Shannon. You find me there. Find me at my church, the Well Church, Delaware. That's where I am. Reach out. I'll share with you some more testimony, whatever you need, whatever helps people to build, and build relationship and be better in God. I'll do my best.
Absolutely.
Malcolm, how many keys you got on your key ring?
I got a lot of keys, believe it or not. I got a lot of keys. You gotta keep them keys.
You know what's crazy about that though? Speaking about deacons, the funny thing is that we've seen each other go through every rank in ministry, getting us to where we are now.
That's crazy.
Before I was minister or elder at my church, we were there locking up and opening for rehearsals and cleaning bathrooms and I go to my home church right now. My pastor can't touch nothing. I'm automatically in server mode. That's another podcast.
Bruh.
I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
Bruh. Y'all knew me when I was miming.
Listen.
Do you still have any of that paint?
Listen.
Do you still have any of that paint?
I just want her to pop like she used to do though. She used to pop lock. I was like, yo, it blew me away. I said, I ain't never seen my ministry like that ever. It blew me away. Yo.
No, for real.
Listen.
For real. Her RC was killing it though.
But the mind ministry game changed when this woman got on the stage with her brothers. I ain't never seen a mind ministry ever. All this stuff y'all see now, they started it. They were the trailblazers, period. Out of Cincinnati, Ohio, period.
For real. Over 20 years ago.
Oh,
that's factual. Over 20 years ago. That's factual. That's factual.
God, that is back in there in those days. Hallelujah. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. And again, as always, I so appreciate y'all hanging out on the Sunny Side View. And we'll see y'all next time. Y'all make sure y'all hit them up and follow them on all social media.
Thank you for listening to my Sunny Side View.